Okay, so having said that, this is a very, very interesting topic, and uh, I think the organizers have chosen a very, very appropriate theme for this particular session. They just didn't just say it's about accreditation, is the Indian industry the growing and things like that, but they identified three very, very important components of Indian healthcare industry, that is the quality, standards, and patient safety. For your information, I come from a tier 2 city called Trichy, which is in the southern part of India, and it is on the banks of river Kaveri. And this is the hospital I represent. This is a group hospital. We have 4 hospitals there. And what I thought was I'll quickly take you through the Indian industry, healthcare industry, and then move on to this topic. The question is India coping up with the quality and quality standards and patient safety? When you compare some of these hospitals in Japan like this, maybe you must understand there are hospitals which started like this, the Coimbatore Medical College Hospital way back in 1900s by the Britishers. Then came the CMC Vellore and Ludhiana, the second generation of hospitals, I would say. These are all the third generation hospitals which have come up maybe just after 1980. And I think the government hospitals like All India Institute of Medical Sciences, I'm going to show you some of the very nice work that has been done in such large public hospitals. This is All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Of course, this is the Apollo Hospital which started in 1983, and this is the hospital where I am working now. And this is the old hospital. I think Shaili made a mistake of saying Kovai Medical. I did work in Kovai Medical Center for 20 years, and most of my experience comes from this hospital. And this is another hospital in this thing, and this is another hospital in Ludhiana. And for the sake of the foreigners who are coming here, we must understand the healthcare industry has really, really developed like this. And not only hospitals, but also diagnostic centers like this. This is the way we are talking, this is the way we are looking at the Indian healthcare industry today. Very quickly, I have gone through the ISB white paper which they made. It's a wonderful paper, and it lists out these are all some of the challenges, but I consider it as an opportunity for quality improvement, or maybe patient safety, or maybe for developing standards. India needs a healthcare system that can meet the demands of over 1 million people. Each year, 39 million people are pushed to poverty because of their inability to meet their healthcare costs. India leads the world in terms of maternal deaths. About 50,000 deaths, maternal deaths happened in the year 2010. Our MMR is about 212 against the 109, and that is the MDG goal which we are supposed to reach by 2015. I guess we will miss. Dearth of qualified medical professionals in rural areas. Health insurance cover is only to about 1/5 of the population. Unorganized private sector accounts to almost 80% of the outpatient healthcare. This is the canvas on which we are talking about the quality standards, maybe the patient safety and improvement. Very quickly, of course, I don't have to, because it's an academic session, I have to define this quality. I am sure it is done. Standards also we need to define. And how is India coping up? That is the subject now. There has been a paradigm shift in the healthcare delivery mechanism in this hospital. Today, from large large public sector hospitals, we had large private hospitals. Somewhere in 1983, we had corporatization happening. Then came the chain of clinics, then came the daycare centers, then came the primary health centers. Today, we have a chain of primary health centers in Pudukkottai, in Trichy, in Madurai. We have only primary health centers organized by the private sector. And the specialty hospitals like Vasanhai hospitals, maybe orthopedic hospitals, eye hospitals, and diagnostic centers, chain of diagnostic centers, chain of pharmacies. And I think these led themselves into quality movement. I think once the once the large volume happens, I think that is also one of the greatest drivers for improving quality. I'm going to talk about it. Then the development of tier 2 hospitals, hospitals in tier 2 cities and in tier 3 cities. Example, even in Apollo hospitals, they have got a hospital in Trichy and Ludhiana and other places. Fortis has, Kovai has, Kaveri has, and so you have, you must understand the quality in great measure is also happening in tier 2 cities, not only in metropolitan cities. And that has happened because of the systems approach. You must understand that in some of our hospitals, we have now clinical pharmacists who work in the wards, clinical pharmacists who work in the wards to find out if there is any medication errors, or to find out if there is excessive stock, or maybe to advise the doctors on allergic reactions and things like that. That I used to see when I went to US in some of the wards, but I find in Trichy, in our hospital, we have qualified pharmacists working on that. That is a great improvement that has happened. And group purchasing is also one thing that has caught over in terms of purchasing materials. A lot of standardization has been possible. Whether it is bed sheets or catheters or cardiac catheters, or maybe whether it is tubings or oxygenators. If I talk about, say, 25,000 units per month, I think I definitely get good pricing and I'm able to drive the standard which I want. So group purchasing has also improved some of the standards, and outsourcing, of course. So there are many areas in which we don't have the core competencies. Maybe in some of the areas, even like lab, in our hospital we have outsourced lab. Some of the hospitals have outsourced pharmacy, but they keep the core competencies like outpatient treatment, operation theaters, diagnostic facilities, and things like that. And of course, the greatest driver has been the accreditation of healthcare providers, and the health insurance also to a large extent has driven the quality movement, because when you say a particular hospital is approved or recognized by an insurance company, they look for some standard requirements, and that is indeed a very basic requirement, but it is a necessary requirement, and that has happened. So insurance companies have also, whether it is private or public, they have also introduced some kind of standardization and quality in the healthcare system. And JKT, the Jayalalitha Kapita Thittam and Arogyasri Kapita Thittam, they have also driven some standards. They talk about what kind of facilities you need to have if you have to do a open heart surgery, if you have to do a laparoscopic procedure, if you have to do a cancer treatment procedure, what is the facilities you need to have. And but for that kind of an insurance system, but for that kind of a social insurance system, I think that kind of standardization wouldn't have happened in many hospitals. And of course, I have seen some standards being developed. NABH is a pioneer in developing standards, but I have also seen some of the standards developed by the government of India. There is a public health standard which has been developed, and I am very amazed. All of you must have a look at that quality standard. They talk about a standard for about 100-bed hospital, 200-bed hospital, 300-bed hospital, district hospitals. Those standards are very, very exhaustive. I would say NABH standards are more quantitative, more qualitative, more prescriptive, but those standards are prescriptive as well as quantitative. You know, they really talk about what kind of infrastructure facilities you have, what kind of manpower you should have, what kind of maybe the safety precautions you need to take, what kind of medicines you need to store. They have listed, and it runs to about 200 pages, and I am very, very impressed. I have seen some of the foreign standards from Chicago and other hospitals, but I still feel our standards were much better. So you should have a look at it. And the state-of-the-art medical equipments have also, yesterday Lalpath manager was showing some of the slides. I think the networking of those laboratory equipments, online transmission of results, all those things made a difference. And I'm going to quickly run through some of the slides to show you on the ground, in the hospitals, what's happening. Of course, the economies of scale, as I told you, when you have 2 hospitals, you have very little power to negotiate. When you have 4 hospitals, you have more power to negotiate. If you have 25 hospitals, nothing like that. Whether it is a gauze piece, or whether it is a bed sheet, or whether it is a catheter, or whether it is maybe a service from one of our telephone operators like Airtel or maybe Reliance, it makes a lot of difference, because I am operating at the group level. And it is now I am able to see how a large group can drive standards. For example, I have just taken the registration form in the hospital, and for 5 of our units, we are using 5 different forms. Today, I have tried to standardize all the forms, and I am able to standardize across the units. If I can do it across the group, maybe we should do it across the country with all other hospitals. I was talking about NIC doing that yesterday. So I think interoperability will happen if you have large number of hospitals, and the great success is with Narayana Hrudayalaya. If you see Narayana Hrudayalaya, with about 5,000 beds and 6,000 beds in cardiology and orthopedics and all that, they have done a great job. So in course of time, you will find large chains, and the economies of scale will drive quality. And classically, you will see the McDonald's is a very classical example, and I think we are trying to replicate that here. Very quickly, what are the systems, accreditation systems that are there? You have NABH, you have Joint Commission International, Australian Council, Japanese Council for Quality and Healthcare. I do not know how many of you have seen a hospital coming up in Bangalore. It is a joint venture between one of the large industrial groups here and Japan, and Japanese people are coming out with their standards. I have seen their standards. I have visited Japan, and those standards are also going to come into India in course of time. Of course, does accreditation ensure quality of care? I don't want to read the text, but I can tell you one thing very clearly, that in India, accreditation will drive quality. It is needed for driving quality in India. Maybe in countries like United States and maybe in some of the West European European countries in the West, you don't require, because culturally they are brought up that way. So all their systems are established. With accreditation or without accreditation, they will do a good job. Their outcomes are very good. In fact, a survey was done to say whether accreditation is required. 50% of the people said without accreditation we can still bring in good quality of care. But such system won't work in India for the next 10 years. So you need accreditation, and accreditation is doing a good job. Very quickly about NABH, what did they do? I think as a person who has gone through the NABH process, worked in the hospitals where NABH is working, I just made an analysis how good NABH organization has performed. It started in the year 2005, and they have developed standards for government hospitals, private hospitals, multi-speciality hospitals, diagnostic centers, allopathic centers, Ayush hospitals, and large number of hospitals have been accredited and waiting for accreditation. I did little bit of research on that, and I found these are all the statistics I got. I'm sure Dr. Giridhar Gyani will be very happy to see these statistics. I just took out what are all the organizations for which they have developed standards. I found out how many organizations in each category got accredited. How many are waiting for accreditation? That means, their movement has caught on, and next 5 years, maybe you will have about 2,000 or 3,000 hospitals accredited. For example, you will see hospitals waiting for accreditation is 479 hospitals. And accredited hospitals are 152 hospitals. That means totally about 630 hospitals around the country are definitely having good quality of care, and patients can be very confident about it. But what is interesting is you will see in 479, I have made that 9 in a blue color. As of yesterday, it was 478, but as of today, I find it is 479. My secretary rings up and tells me, sir, don't make it as 478, make it as 479. And similarly, the private clinic, it is about 25, it is not 24. As of yesterday, it was 24. That means like a taximeter is running. So that's a very good sign, and so this is very important. Okay, economies of scale. This is a very classical example. Again, this is from my unit. From my hospital, I have 4 hospitals like KH Thenur, KH Speciality, KH Heart City, KH Chennai. I have tried to standardize whether it is a patient ID card or a patient ID tag, or maybe buying a capital equipment, or maybe giving ID for employees, or establishing a pneumatic pipeline system in the hospital, or establishing telephone services, or a video conferencing facilities, computerizing MIS reports, BMS implementation. I think all happened because of volume. We don't want different standards for different hospitals. If it can happen for a small group like us with only about 1,000 beds, I think large groups should really look at it. Okay, now see, just to give you some practical examples, in those days we had a lot of these paper requisitions, and people were taking the readings from the equipments, although we were using auto analyzers. But today you are talking about barcoded equipments. There are practically no written communication at all. All our labs in the network have become fully operational with the network. So requests come through the online, then the results are done in the equipment, and the results are communicated to the watt stations through the network, and maybe somebody in Chicago can read the report. This happens all over. So India has developed, and maybe you should also look at some of the German hospitals. I used to wonder when our hospitals will become like this. Everything is an automated equipment here, whether it is operating theater lights or tables or maybe room lighting or laparoscopy equipment. But today you must understand, in India, most of the theaters, including public sector hospitals like Jayadeva, have wonderful PACS facilities, and all that has been standardized. So I think we are going forward in terms of quality of care. Another area is central sterilization department. You see, previously we had this kind of sterilizers. Today you're talking about maybe fully automated sterilizers. We are able to maintain all kinds of standards. When NABH people come, we are able to say at what time the pack was sterilized, who sterilized it, and what was the pressure, what was the temperature, everything we are able to give these kind of charts, and the NABH inspectors are very, very happy about it. This is the kind of graphs we are able to do. And this example you should see. Maybe all of us do it in private hospitals. It's not a big deal. Maybe I get only about 700 patients every day as an outpatient. But here I see in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, there are about 4,000 outpatients come each day. So these people have adopted this. That's why I was so enamored when that madam talked about NIC developing a software for that. And this one department in that, and this is the kind of crowd you have. When I go to US, the neurosurgeon, neurophysician says, I saw 25 patients and he says, I'm quite tired. But here my pediatrician looks at about almost 120 patients a day, right from morning 8 o'clock to night 12 o'clock. So this is the kind of, patient load you are talking about. You see here, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, they don't want patients to wait. They wanted to reduce the waiting time. And to reduce the waiting time, what they have done is they have got a card, they collect money for maybe about 200 rupees or something like that from the patient, charge it onto the card and give the card to them. They go to different facilities. They charge only 10 rupees for ECG. They charge only 5 rupees for consultation. So all that is charged onto this card, and you are seeing a young man doing this, and I was very impressed about it. This is the slip they give, and this is the card which they give it to the patients. Today, I understand they have already touched about 2,000 patients like this. And of course, this is the another hospital where you see a private hospital again. They were not having technology there. They were not having barcodes. Now they have started using barcodes. The crowd has depleted here. And this is another interesting application, again to reduce the waiting time. This is for transporting patients in the hospital. Previously, they used to call up and then the nurse will say the patient was not delivered in the operation theater even after about half an hour. So here the request comes through the computer and the barcodes are given to the employees, and they swipe and they are able to transport the patient. Again, the lab samples are transported through the pneumatic pipeline system. So this is the barcode I was talking about given to the patient, to the employee, and that's how they scan. And this is the request that comes through the computer. It's all to reduce the waiting time. Please understand, it is about improving the quality of care. So lastly, I just want to talk about something about BMS also, because we are only talking about improving the quality around the patient. Then we should also improve the quality around the hospital facility. If my doctor says the temperature in the operation theater is about 24 degrees, I must know before he knows. So that is possible if I have a good HVAC system and a good BMS system. So we have maybe we could have facilities like this. When I went to Mass General, this was the kind of BMS room they had. We cannot afford it, but definitely we can afford a system like this. This is what is being done. I think he will remember, Partha will remember this. And this is the latest BMS system we have in one of the hospitals where I worked. And so sitting in the BMS room, I can change the temperatures in the operation theater, ICU, and any place. So that way we can ensure quality. And thank you very much for this time, and I look forward for some questions. Thank you very much.